Y'all, so y'all know what kind of pepper this is? Obviously you do if you saw the thumbnail, but I've never made let me correct that, roasted hatch pepper jelly. Do not roast them, chop them up, blend them, and make some jelly. So this is gonna be slightly different than the last pepper jelly video that I did, mainly because we're gonna roast these. So sit back, relax, grab some coffee. Let's make some roasted hatch pepper jelly. So this is going to be a quicker video than the last pepper jelly, the spicy pepper jelly video that I made, which I'll put up right here for anyone who wants to go see that. It's going to be faster mainly because I'm going to just kind of breeze through certain aspects of this video. If you want an in-depth video on the entire process, prepping the jars and everything, watch that other video, but I am going to go through this one kind of quick. So as you see right here, I'm prepping the canner, which is right there. I've already got water in it, got the heat going. I'm about to put the jars in right now so they can start warming and getting clean. I also went ahead and put the lids in the other pot. Again, that's to sterilize the lids and that rubber ring that's going to seal onto the jars. As you can see right there, the water is starting to get bubbly. For this step right here, you don't want to bring that to a boil. You just want to basically get those lids hot, which they're about done, honestly. Right here, and again, this is just to help, well, there we go. This is just to help sterilize the jars. We're not going to leave them in for very long, or at least I never leave them in for a super long time. 5 to 10 minutes. I know people that don't even do this step. They just wash them with soap and water. All right, I'm making sure not to touch the ring at all. And you just want to sit them off somewhere where they're out of the way. At least this is what I do. If y'all do something different, drop it in the comments, share your experience with everybody so everyone can make their own decisions on how they want to do this. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and start roasting the hatch chilies. Now, I know I just called them a hatch chili. Yes, these are peppers, but around here in Texas, this time of year, these things become huge. They're in everything. I mean, you can get just these, you can get hatch pepper chips. I mean, literally everything. It's everywhere. This pepper, chili, whatever, is all through Texas, and it's basically a staple down here. I'm gonna put up on the screen right here all the information about this chili. These are mild as far as heat. This one is a hot hatch chili. Putting the ingredients up right here, and plus everything else will be down below also. But for the peppers, we need 12 ounces. So to roast them, I'm not gonna take them outside because one, I don't have a grill that takes charcoal. I don't want to pellet grill them, so I'm gonna roast them on the stove. So we're gonna do just like they do on Food Network. When you see Bobby Flay doing something, this is basically what they do. I don't have metal tongs, so I'm gonna be really careful with the plastic ones here. Crank up the heat a little bit on this. Which one is it? This one? Yeah. And we're just gonna kind of blacken. Ooh, you can hear them popping. We're gonna just kind of blacken the outside of these peppers. All right, I'll be totally honest. I wish y'all could smell the kitchen right now. It smells so good. It's got like a sweet pepper smell going on in here from these peppers just roasting on the stove like this. It's actually kind of cool. But for the most part, these are about done as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the peppers just a few more minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and start taking out the jars right now. This recipe will fill up all 12 of these 4-ounce jars plus one 8-ounce jar. So we're gonna go put this one in the water. Now the chilies are done. Yeah, look at that. Woo, look at that one. All right, y'all, at this point, I'm gonna go let the chilies cool down just a little bit before I start chopping them up. But we can go ahead and start getting other things ready to go, like the 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. We're going to need that. And the pectin. Now, what is pectin? That is a great question that I didn't know until I started making jelly. Okay, pectin, this stuff right here. It is a clear gel that we add into the pot at a certain point. Blend and blend and blend, and this is actually what makes everything turn into a jelly. So you gotta have these. We need to have 6 ounces. Now, these usually come in 3-ounce containers, just like that. Each one of these are 3 ounces. So we'll need both of these at a certain point to make the jelly. So the peppers are ready. We're gonna go ahead and scrape off the dark part of it, the burnt part, start chopping these things up, get the 12 ounces, and roll from there. Now, let's just chop up the pepper, however you want to chop it, totally up to you. At this point, you're going to take 1 cup of your apple cider vinegar. We're going to put it into the blender, like that. Then we're going to add in all the peppers. Now you could do this in stages if you want. Obviously, I tend to just do it all at once. Then we're going to blend this up to a good puree consistency. However you feel comfortable. Keeping it real, y'all. However you want it to be as far as pureed to your standard is what you want to do. So here we go. At this stage right here, I'm putting the warnings up for a reason. Remember, we're dealing with peppers. Even though this is going to be a mild pepper, hopefully, I did have 1 hot one in there. So if you're doing any kind of a pepper, anything that's going to have a heat, remember, you just blended this stuff all down to a puree. When you take the lid off, it's going to be all those vapors. So keep that in mind when you open the lid to this. If you're sensitive to all that, be back a little bit and be prepared for that strong pepper vapor. Especially if you're doing stuff like you're making a habanero type jelly or something, you definitely want to stay back. So, big warning, I've warned everybody, just be really careful. You don't want to get, y'all know where I'm going with that? All right, at this point, we're going to move over to the pot. We're going to start getting this thing going because we're almost done, believe it or not. All right, so right now I do not have the stove on for this. We're going to add the 2nd cup of the apple cider vinegar into that pot, which I'm doing right now. We're gonna get 5 cups of sugar. Now, you could also do 6 cups, depending on how sweet you want it. I have found I like the 5-cup area. Now, this is where we need to be careful with the vapors. We're gonna pour all of this in there. It is so strong. That pepper smell is so strong, but very, very, very sweet smelling. We are going to stir this until it is completely dissolved, y'all. Once we get this completely dissolved, we are going to bring the boil up. We're going to bring the temperature up to a full boil. And at a full boil, we will continue stirring for 10 minutes. Once it's at a complete rolling boil, 10 minutes. Okay, one more thing to remember. You're dealing with peppers. So if you use your fingers and you don't glove up when you're cutting, make sure you wash your hands really good. And make sure you don't touch your face, your eyes, or anything. Especially if you're dealing with super hot peppers. You are going to burn, burn, burn. And like an idiot, I just touched my eye without washing my hands. Now, it's not burning like it would be if that was habaneros, but I can definitely feel that I'm an idiot and I forgot to wash my hands. So I'm warning y'all and reminding you, make sure you wash your hands and don't do what I just did. All right, here we go. See it starting to walk its way out? This is going to be really quick when it starts, and I'm going to let it go just a little bit just to show everybody. This right here is when you really want to make sure you're ready You got either you or somebody next to the controls, so you could drop the fire when it needs to be dropped, which is going to be really soon. Watch how fast this starts to go. All right, so if you're not watching this here in the next 30 seconds or so, you could have a big disaster on your hands with stuff everywhere. Watch how fast it starts to go up the sides. I'm going to let it do its thing here in a second. Also, at this point, we start the 10 minutes. All the foam, how fast, how much it's bubbling. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it, but you can see how that was. And then for the next 10 minutes, we want to keep it at a boil like it's doing right here and stirring. All right, there it was. 10 minutes are done. At this point, we're going to remove it from the heat. You got to be kind of fast on this. We're going to add in the pectin, which is this clear stuff that you can see right there. And then we're going to get it right back on the flames here. So you want to make sure you get all that in there. Again, 6 ounces of the pectin. Back on the heat. And from this point forth, y'all, we do not stop stirring. We're going to get this back to a rolling boil. So I'm going to crank up the heat again. Okay, be sure to be ready again to adjust the heat, which I'm going to drop it just a little bit right here. And for 1 minute, we are going to constantly stir this. All right, y'all, it's been 1 minute. So turn it off, and we are going to start filling the jars. All right, at this point, you need to make sure you have a funnel and one of these. Then we are just going to fill each of the jars to where you have about 1/4 of a head space from the top of the jelly to the bottom of the jar, of the lid. And at this point, you want to be kind of quick, but you don't want to be, too quick. You don't want to make a mess if you don't have to. Okay, now we are going to use the lids that we sterilized earlier, that I just unsterilized. Now remember, when you're touching these jars, these are super hot. This was all boiling, so remember that. They're going to be hot. When you put the lid on, you want to take it down to where it doesn't move anymore, and then go just a little bit, 1/4 turn, finger tight, like that. All right, here we go. Okay, so once it starts to boil, again, we're going to let it boil for 10 minutes, and then we're going to take it off. Once the 10 minutes are up, we're going to shut everything off, get these out onto a towel. You definitely don't want to take these straight out of a boiling pot of water and put them on a cold countertop. That's a negative. All right, y'all, we are done. It has been 10 minutes at a rolling boil, so we're going to go ahead and remove everything. Now, when I do this, I always tilt it just a little bit, get the water off. We're going to turn off the heat, and we are just going to start taking these out and putting them on. And as you can see, we're already starting to hear the lids sealing. You'll start hearing those popping sounds when the lids are completely sealed to the jar. That is what you want to hear, y'all. That glorious popping. You just made roasted hatch chili pepper. Did you hear that? Let's wait a minute. Here's some more. Okay, so the last thing you need to do, honestly, is make sure you label the lid, the date, the name of the jelly, and whatever else you'd like to put on there for yourself. This is really an easy thing to do, especially pepper jelly. Now, I've never done all the other ones, grape or strawberry, any of that, so I don't know. But pepper jelly is really simple. Never had an issue with it at all. And I'm really excited to try this over some cream cheese with some crackers. Come on, yo. So with those still popping, I'm gonna go and let everybody go. If y'all enjoyed this video, if you got anything out of it, if you learned anything at all, do me the 3 favors: share, like, and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already. Y'all take care. May God continue to bless each and every one of you, and I'll talk to y'all again real soon. Bye.